Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Want to give a shout out to Mark and Cora. Love you guys. Love
Yeah,
doing the video with you this morning. And anytime, we're
yeah,
here.
anytime.
Anytime.
Say
So,
hi to everybody in the community.
yes.
We are about a week and a half behind on answering some of our comments since our new YouTube channel is up, and we've gone through a few of them already. Obviously, we don't have time to answer them all, but thank you so much for your
Yes.
comments and your support and everything else. It just means so much to Kim and I that we have your support, and we hope that we can keep continuing to bring I don't know about
Humor?
quality videos,
Humor?
but at least be able to make people laugh. And
Like we keep saying, we're class clowns. That's
yeah,
all we are.
you know, as much as I call Jehovah Witness elders knuckleheads, the way Kim and I view each other doing these YouTube videos, we're just a couple of knuckleheads too. So, but we're glad that we're bringing a little bit of sunshine into everybody's life, because it makes us happy that we can we
Yeah.
can make you happy and have a
And
positive outlook on
and
things.
also I didn't Mark and Cora, we had been talking about how we get this information, in our video people, and they're like, where do you guys get this stuff? And I thanked them, and then I was just going to say it's because of all of you.
The viewers,
If it wasn't for you guys sending us stuff
yeah,
and letting us
alerting
know
us
what's going on,
to
sending us
things,
links to articles and videos
yeah.
and information, and for those of you who are getting us current information and the talks and everything,
Thank
we
you.
just
I mean,
we couldn't do it
we
without you.
exactly. Mike and Kim YouTube channel would not exist
Yeah.
without our viewers. So thank you from the bottom
Yeah.
of our hearts. And I've said it once, and I'll say it again, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It's not going to take one person to bring down Watchtower. It is a concentrated effort. It's a group effort from everybody, and
The
the
team.
more united that we can remain as a team, the greater effect and the quicker perhaps we can close the doors of Watchtower and free our brothers and sisters from that control. And
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So what do we have on tap today, Kim?
Okay. Well, first we want to thank Duke for
Duke,
sending
the
us
the Duke?
the Duke.
The Duke. Thank you, Duke, brother.
Really
We
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
Oh boy, he has sent us so much. It's going to take me a while to get through everything. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Duke. But we figured we wanted to do this right away since it's probably going to be the quickest.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I've been wanting to do a similar video with the content that we have. About what 7-8 months ago, I did some research on this subject. I'm not going to give it away yet because I don't want to give away the content of what we're doing. And for some reason, Kim, it seems like every time we do research to put something together, nothing comes together like we feel it should. And then one day, somebody like Duke.
It just falls into place.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Somebody
we've been
like
hanging
Duke will
on to
do
this
this.
information
Yeah.
for, like you said, about 7 months now.
Yeah, and it
And
just didn't
now,
feel right.
and now it's like, boom, this falls in our lap. Just like while researching this last night, we found the information
Yeah.
for another video. It's like,
Yeah.
wow,
Wow.
just
So
talk about stumbling upon something and plain dumb doo-dah luck.
the Lord works in mysterious way. But so what's the announcement we have to make?
I think we are going to announce the birth, a
Oh,
new birth.
we're going to announce a new birth, but we got to put it in context first. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is we're going to start off by reading a couple of scriptures in the book of Revelation. I want to start off with Revelation. This is from the New World Translation. Revelation 14:8. And a second angel followed, saying, She has fallen! Babylon the Great has fallen! She who made all the nations drunk of the wine of the anger of her fornication. Watchtower Society in most cults of the world will recognize that when you refer to Babylon the Great in the book of Revelation, it refers to the world organization of false religions. But more closer to home, even Alexander Hyssop in his book, The Two Babylons, this was written in the 1800s. Even back then, their concept, their idea of Babylon the Great was the Catholic Church. And really, when you really boil it down to, in this particular scripture, when you talk about Babylon the Great, you have to come from the mindset that it's speaking specifically of the Catholic Church. And let me use another scripture just to kind of get that thought going that way. Revelation chapter 17, verse 5. But I want to start off with verse 1, and I'm just going to read what's pertinent. The angel says this to John, verse 1, "Come, I will show you the judgment upon the great harlot, who sits on many waters," and who sits on, the great harlot who sits on many waters. I'm going to drop down to verse 5. It says, "And upon her forehead was written a name, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of the harlots."
Well, that makes it sound like she's the mother, and she's going to have some daughters that
she's gonna give birth, isn't she? See, just notice that in those two scriptures that there's just a name change. In chapter 14, it's Babylon the Great. Chapter 17, Babylon the Great, the mother of all the harlots. Now, in our earlier studies, in our research, we come to understand that, what was now in the Greek, what was it again?
I believe it's the word cultist.
Cultist. Yes, she becomes the mother of the cults. In the Greek word, harlots can also be interchanged with cultists, which is cults. So, in the research that Kim and I have done, that we thought what we'd do is we would see if we can notice Babylon the Great, the mother of all the harlots, when she started producing an explosion of children.
Started giving birth to all her little mini harlots.
And most of this information can be found on Wikipedia.
Oh, online. I mean, there's just so many websites all over the place.
But we're not going to go through them all. We're just going to do some of the ones so we can kind of get an idea that when you look at, in any family line, you start off with 1 or 2 children, and then 2, 3 children will have 6 and 12, and all of a sudden you've just got a huge family. At some point, there's an explosion of growth.
Yeah.
So we want to see if we can pinpoint a harlot, Babylon the Great's explosion of cults or children or religions. On Wikipedia, there was 3 Great Awakenings here in the United States. The first Great Awakening was from the 1730s to the 1755s. At that time, you saw Protestantism.
You'll have to excuse us. We're very tired.
The Quakers were experiencing some growth there. Revivalists, Presbyterians, the Dutch Reformed Church, the Methodists. Now, keep in mind, these are just here in the United States. And you want to remember that the United States at the time was not under any control from Mother, the Catholic Church, because everybody from Europe was escaping. So now everybody here in the United States had this opportunity to have their own church, their own religion, without the Catholic Church influencing what they were to teach. The second awakening happened between 1790 and 1840. That time saw a huge growth in the Methodist and Baptist churches. There was also a huge revival in Protestantism, and it was Protestants. And also there was saw the birth of the Salvation Army during that time. Now we come down to the huge growth. 1750 to the early 1850 to the early 1900s. The Seventh-day Adventists were recognized in 1863, May 21st. The Mormons, 1820. We found this interesting because it was founded by Joseph Smith, but I did not know that he was 14 years old at that time.
When he had his vision,
yes,
that's when they considered he became a prophet.
Yes. And the ones that we're very familiar with, the Bible students, 1881s. We all know that they later became Jehovah's Witnesses. And it was interesting to note that out of all of these religions that really seemed to come about in the middle to late 1800s, early 1900s, there was something else that was dropped in the world scene. And somebody might take offense to this, but I also view this as a cult also. And in 1859, Darwin's book, The Origins of Man, was published. And that has a cult following just like any man-made religion on earth today. In fact, it's actually taught in schools instead of things from the Bible. But I'm not going to debate that with anybody. I refuse. Okay, I'm just not going to do it. So don't even try, please.
Origins of Species.
Origins of Species. Thank you for correcting
Like I
me.
said.
Yes, we're tired. But at the same time, we also have to recognize that from this explosion of religions, Christian religions in America, you had several splinter groups. And if you do your research, you will see that Jehovah's Witnesses, right after Rutherford took over, there was a huge splinter groups that came out of Jehovah's Witnesses, the Bible students, Watchtown Bible
There
Tract
was
Society.
even, the Bible students who stayed Bible students and didn't go off with Rutherford, when he decided to make them Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right. So when you read the scripture in Revelation, when John is being showed the mystery of Babylon the Great, the mother of all the harlots, you have to realize what John was probably being shown. He may have been shown all of these, other religions, these other cults coming out of Babylon the Great. And like I said, most everybody will readily recognize that really stems from the Catholic Church. So now, do we want to show the birth?
Yeah,
because
we have a baby.
This really pertains to the Watchtown Bible Tract Society. Oh, look, it's still attached to its mother with the umbilical
cord.
It doesn't matter what you call it. You can still see it's attached to its mother.
Yeah. But I know that was a still,
Yeah.
but we actually, and I apologize that I am not too savvy on turning and all of that with Google Earth. Some of these guys are really good with that. Yeah. But so just excuse my clumsiness.
So what we're going to do is we actually filmed Kim, using Google Earth and spinning around this kingdom hall that is physically attached to the church. Now, how hypocritical is that, Jehovah's Witnesses? See, you're so worried about how Jehovah's Witnesses are groomed, whether we have beards or whether our mustaches come down past the lip, because it all leaves a bad perception of how the world views Jehovah's Witnesses. You demand that our cars be kept sparkling clean. You demand that we have the best looking lawns and yards in the neighborhood. You demand this of your followers, but yet, why don't you follow what you preach? You are still attached to your mother, Babylon the Great, with this kingdom hall. Do you think you're going to get away with it?
Yeah. I just want to mention that some may not understand why. Okay, so what's the deal with this? What's the big deal? You're nitpicking. Okay, when Elder Richard was going to marry our kids, and I know we've mentioned this before, but we have a ruins down the road here that it's an old Spanish mission, and it's just a pile of rocks. It hasn't been a mission for like 400 years. And he would not marry the kids by these ruins because it used to be a mission.
It used to be a Catholic church, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he wouldn't even allow them to get married in the picnic grounds, which is just a little ways down from these ruins.
So you can understand why Kim and I see the absolute hypocrisy.
And why we're a little confused.
In this. Because Jehovah's Witnesses, the elders in the congregations, are not on the same pages as the Watchtower Society. Because if this Elder Richard was on the same page and saw that this kingdom hall is still physically attached to its mother, Babylon the Great, then he'd have had no problem marrying my children in an old, rundown Spanish mission. The hypocrisy is utterly disgusting, Watchtower. It truly is.
And I want to mention that it's not just us that feels this way, because Duke, the guy that sent this to us, was kind of ranting and raving about this also, because if I remember right from his email, that they had the Pioneer School in this Kingdom Hall.
Yeah.
And he was shocked to see that it was attached to this huge,
Catholic church.
cathedral church. So, especially since they shared, well, not only is it still attached, but their doorway is right there in the hallway, in the umbilical cord.
So, Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses, I want you to ponder this next question over. And those who are studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, at some point, you have been asked, or you will be asked, to send in an official letter of resignation, physically separating yourselves from your former church, whether that be evangelicals, whether it be Mormons, whether it be Catholics, whether it be Seventh-day Adventists. You will be required to physically have your names removed from that list so that you are no longer attached to the mother or one of the daughters of the mother. But yet Watchtower can conscientiously get away with this and have the Kingdom Hall attached to a Catholic church. It's disgusting.
And I apologize because I wasn't that prepared, because it's been one of those days. But I can remember articles, and you can look in the Watchtower Library of this and do a search, Jehovah's Witnesses, that as witnesses, you cannot even work on a church.
Yeah.
I could not go and make a wedding cake and take it into a church and be there for the reception because it was attached to the church. I couldn't even go into an elder told me that I couldn't even go to a gym that was attached to the Mormon church, to serve the cake and put this cake up and everything.
But we did it anyways. We just didn't tell anybody. So
I had to go before the wedding started, like an hour before it even started, and before anybody was there. I had to sneak in and set this up, and then I had to leave and then go pick up my stuff later, because I couldn't be affiliated with this gym that was part of the Mormon church. Now, how hypocritical is that?
So here again, Jehovah's Witnesses, you have to realize the level of hypocrisy that you're involved with if you're involved with the Watchtower Bible Tract Society.
Yeah. So let's show the clip real quick. All right. Now here we got Kingdom Hall, Jehovah's Witnesses in the building, and I don't know if you can see the address up here, but it's 62 Queen Street, and this is Google Earth Street View. Like I said, I'm not used to using this, so I'm really clumsy, but this is Newton Abbott, and you can see this is a Kingdom Hall, so hopefully, let's see if I can back out here. Look at that.
Oh, look, there's Mother standing proud of her child.
And look at, there's the umbilical cord. It's still attached. Yeah. But I find the hypocrisy just amazing. I mean, witnesses can't join the YMCA or YWCA, just use the swimming pool or the gym or something because, that's part of the political system of things.
Well, that breezeway, that walkway is still part of.
It's an umbilical cord to the church. Yeah, because when you walk in there, I'm sure you can see that direction to where, towards the church. Oh, those idols, the demons might be, grabbing at you as you're walking in there.
The other interesting thing is with the little bit of research that Kim and I have done with this particular Google Earth, and I don't know if Google Earth can really show significantly or not, but it very much appears that those windows are also boarded up so the outside world still can't see what goes inside. So we want to congratulate this Catholic Church for giving birth to another one of her daughters. And I want to conclude with this, Jehovah's Witnesses. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice out of heaven say, "Get out of her, my people, if you do not want to share with her in her sins, and if you do not want to receive part of her plagues." Jehovah's Witnesses, how could you see something like this and not realize that your organization is still very much one of the daughters of Babylon the Great? Do your research and get out while the getting is still good.
Yeah, it's been one of those days.
So I guess bid everybody adieu.
Say good night, Mikey.
Good night, Kimmy.